Hello, and welcome to Exploring Energy in Everyday Life with your co-hosts. I'm Mary Von Ohlen, and
I'm Rebecca Karchere. Welcome.
welcome. Today we thought we would talk about some seasonal health tips and health hacks that might apply mostly in the spring right now, as we're finally, at least in the Northeast, finally getting out of the long winter and into the spring season. And that brings up certain topics regarding our health. And we thought we'd give you some unique tips, perhaps, that you may not know about.
I'm sure you're going to learn something. Okay. So where do you want to begin?
Well, let's see. Should we start with allergies? That comes up sometimes this time of year, right?
Yeah. So what I find with allergies is most often the stomach is supposed to have a certain pH, which is supposed to be a pH just means the acidity, and we want to have a low pH because it's the acids that incinerate the food and make it user friendly for the body, and the rest and goes down the digestive tract. But people with allergies tend to have hypochlorhydria, which is a lack of stomach juices, and so clue number one or health hack number one is if you have allergies, you can provide actually an acid to your stomach to help with your allergies. So an acid that I would recommend is something like Zypan from Standard Process. Another acid, a more mild acid, would be lemon juice or apple cider vinegar. Excuse me. If you want to add that to some water and start drinking that throughout the day, that'll acidify the stomach. That's number one.
And probably a lot of people don't realize that might seem counterintuitive to you based on things you've heard about antacids and things like that.
Oh yes, I know I'm strange, and I know that my information is bizarre, but it works. Another an herb that's excellent for allergies is nettles or stinging nettles. So that helps fantastic for allergies. Another one is that I use a lot for patients is quercetin, which is just another. The way I describe it, it's like a stronger vitamin C. Quercetin does wonders for allergies. Do you want to add to that, or
Sure. And then just for the symptoms of allergies, what came to mind for me from Standard Process is Antranex, which is a natural antihistamine. And also along the lines of the quercetin, I use OPCs, which is a short term for the long term oligomeric proanthocyanidins. Think like the often the purple kind of colored antioxidants, but they're again ones that help support the system and end up acting like a natural antihistamine. So that's what I use too.
Excellent. So we'll leave it at that. So lemon's juice, apple cider vinegar. I don't want to overwhelm people. I do that. And just for general health with allergies, if you wanted to also order something like Allerplex from Standard Process, you'd have to connect with me and I can send it to you. But yeah, so I think we've hacked the allergies.
Yes, excellent. So then what comes to mind is, well, obviously hopefully you will be outdoors more in the springtime. So that not only brings up perhaps seasonal allergies, but also sun exposure. And so a lot of people will reach for, I was at a client's home the other day and couldn't help but notice copper tone in their, kind of medicine chest, so to speak. And I cringe because the chemicals in there are awful for our skin and are, again, one of those things that end up contributing to poor skin health instead of doing what they claim to do. In short. So there are natural sunblocks out there. I've used Best Block by Best on Earth Products, which is online. Rebecca, what do you use? I also use just coconut oil on my skin in general for skin health, and that adds extra protection in the sun. Now, I'm very fair, right? Mostly kind of Irish complexion. So coconut oil alone isn't going to, don't use that and think it's like, 30 SPF sunblock, but it's good to use in general. And it's important also just to get exposure to the sun without anything on, and coconut oil not counting, but meaning we want to absorb the good energy and the good nutrients, basically, the good energy from the sun that we need without blocking it. So if you do put some kind of block on, try to get like 15 minutes of sunshine without blocking it first.
Yeah, there's a lot of The sun is not the devil, people.
We need it just like the plants do.
Yes, we would die without the sun. So whatever you've heard about the sun, yes, you have to get natural, let your raw skin touch the sun's energy for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. The coconut oil provides about an 8 as far as the what's the factor?
SPF.
Yeah, the SPF. It's about an 8, which doesn't really, have a lot of protection, but that's certainly what I use when I go out in the sun. But yes, I want to build up my own skin's protection. And then, don't forget we're creating vitamin D by being out in the sun. Your body is creating its own vitamin D via the kidneys. So don't, if you've done your research and if you're scared about cancer, that's one of the protective vitamins that, marketing has, led, it's all over the marketing as far as cancer prevention is you have to have good vitamin D levels. So anyway, and part of the, which came first? Maybe the sunscreen is what made us all, have cancer so prevalent. Anyway, another thing, I ran into a friend who makes her own sunscreen, and she buys zinc oxide and makes her own with coconut oil and blends it all. I don't know anything about that, but her name is Amanda Joy, and she's an acupuncturist in Oak Island. If you want more information, seek her out, or I'll seek her out for you. But I thought that was very interesting. I thought I might order zinc oxide this year and make my own sunscreen. That's what she uses for her and her family. The other thing, internally, when you're out in the sun, you want to have fish oil, adequate fish oil in your body, or adequate omega-3s in your body, as that will protect from the sun's rays, and that will give you more time out in the sun. And you won't burn, or the burn time will be extended, and the whole experience is a lot less painful, if at all, meaning it'll minimize the damage considerably. And so I've advised people to ingest something like Cataplex F, or cod liver oil, or flaxseed oil, and people have gone on. I remember one story. She went, this person went on a cruise, and she's like, "What should I take?" And I'm like, "You just take these supplements and put the coconut oil." She used no sunblock, and she had a fantastic, skin experience with no damage. So that's how I hack the sun. And personally. Personally, when I've had enough sun, which I just use my own intuition and my own discernment, I just get under an umbrella, or just put a towel over me. I don't need to prove anything to anybody. So that's that's my relationship with the sun. You were going to say
nature provides shade for a reason as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had an aha. Also, I remembered, I just thought I'd throw this out there, that also be aware sometimes when you might be using an herb for something unrelated to the sun, and it can actually, sometimes there are side effects that aren't super detrimental, but are uncomfortable. I was getting, a few years back, I noticed that I was getting a strange rash in the sun, just this kind of reddish irritation. And I couldn't figure it out. I thought, why did I suddenly develop a sun sensitivity? And then I realized at the time I'd been taking some St. John's wort, an herb that's good for your immune system. And St. John's wort, if you take enough of it, can create sun sensitivity. So that was a real simple thing to eradicate during the, you can use St. John's in the wintertime, but if you're going to be out in the sun and getting a nice little suntan, it's not ideal. On the flip side, I found another supplement that I actually was utilizing recently for eye strain. So here's another thing, coming out of the winter, indoors more. You guys, if you're watching this video, you're on YouTube, so you obviously get some screen time yourself. And if your work like ours involves being on the computer some of the time, it can put some additional stress on our eyes. Weren't designed to be looking at these bright computer screens. Two things. One thing is that when I worked with a chiropractic neurologist, he often recommended for people, just for in general, that it was healthier to filter out the bad computer screen light when I had to work there and be on a computer a lot. And rose-colored glasses, when glasses are tinted rose-colored, believe it or not, they help filter out the type of light from the spectrum type of light that causes additional strain on the eyes. So rose-colored glasses while you're on your computer, doing computer work is great. But this supplement I started taking for eye strain, because it's actually, most people take it, it's called astaxanthin. Not easy to say or spell, but I'll put it in the description below when we post the video. It's used a lot more out east, in the Far East, and usually it's touted for cardiovascular support, muscle health. But a lot of people found that when they take it, it actually helps prevent getting sunburn. And it makes sense to me in terms of the skin and the eye support, because it helps me with eye strain big time. Because when I looked into it, astaxanthin is basically like in the carotenoid family. So what do you think about with carotenoids? It's like vitamin A, right? It's like carrots. If you eat enough carrots, you're gonna get a little orange tone, but you're also less likely to burn, right? And it's also great for your eyes. So it makes sense to me that it's a carotenoid. So eye strain and some skin protection. Now I find that I look just a little bit, you can't tell because I'm so pale, right? I'm so fair, but a little bit more on the tan side than the white or pinkish scale that I would normally be. So that's another little hack for you.
Yeah, yeah. The other thing, there's such an involvement with the liver when it comes to skin health, that if you're the type of person that is drinking alcohol, on the beach or at the pool, you're going to be more sensitive to, or more likely to have a burn if you're not, taking some proactive steps. Or if you're someone that, in the summer, a lot of people like to eat fried foods and junky foods because, summer break, that's also going to hinder your protection, your inner protection. So, certain foods like tomatoes and beets and radishes, just off the top of my head, would be excellent to help. I recommend something like AF beta food or Spanish black radish tablets to take to offset the not so ideal foods, because that's gonna, that'll aid in the skin protection also.
Great.
Yeah.
I think
it helps your eyes, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's probably a good place to pause. Was there anything else you wanted to add? It's not overwhelming folks too much. What else?
Well, just briefly, since we're talking about health hacks and we're talking about seasonal health hacks and health tips, the smartest thing to do is to have a really good, healthy liver. And start your day with lemon water, whether that's warmed or chilled, whatever. I mean, obviously warmed is better. But that's a great hack to start your day. And feel free to drink lemon water throughout the day to keep that liver healthy. And it's going to help with the allergies that we talked about. It's going to help with the skin that we talked about. It's going to help with the eyes that we talked about. It helps with everything. Even, we talked about blood sugar on a previous episode. I mean, everything comes down to liver health, in my opinion. So start your day with some lemon water. That's my last hack for the day.
Perfect. And I will just throw in, use some emotional freedom technique to manage any resentments or anger, because liver gets backed up with processing anger as well. So don't be hanging on to any unnecessary anger. If you need help with that, you can reach out to me, and certainly reach out to Rebecca if you want some very customized approach to determine which would be the best of all those different great supplements that she spoke about as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you can't don't do this on your own unless you know what you're doing. Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you all for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Be well.
Yes. Take care. Thanks for watching.
See you next time.